we sing. And we are live. So, things are going to be a little bit weird today, my bad. I meant to stream early. However, I wanted to wait for, let's jump right into the titty chat chats. I wanted to wait until the new stand came so that I could do the thing with the adjusting that I wanted. It's not panning out the way I wanted to. So one of my monitors is playing ball. So one of my monitors has, like, where you have to attach the bracket to it, has placed it a good amount of space above my laptop. However, my other monitor does not seem to want to play ball. Now, this monitor is like down here, and the corner of my laptop is already covering a part of the monitor. So it's just not ideal. I don't like the setup because it's also got my laptop. I had to put it flat so that it's not covering or knocking on the monitors and stuff. And I just don't like it. I just don't like the way it is. I don't have enough room to put my clickety-clackety keyboard here. And I also don't use my laptop. I don't use it flat. I use it at a slant so that I'm typing like this, not like this. And I had to take my laptop stand and put it somewhere else. So I'm trying not to go crazy over that. I'm not gonna go crazy over it. It's just like really frustrating because I put off streaming, waiting for the stand, thinking that the stand was really gonna help things out, and it's just, I'm disappointed, and it's already pretty late, and I don't even want to put everything back on the stand that it was before. I have come to the conclusion that what I'm going to do is have my two monitors directly in front of me and my laptop off to the side, and then just have my clickety-clackety keyboard right in front of me. That's what I'm going to try, and if that works out, then that will be the setup that I maintain. However, because I'm so annoyed about everything not going the way that I wanted and having to adjust so much, and now I have the game over here, but I couldn't find a great placement for the camera. It's just trying to get to me. The little things are trying to get to me, but I won't let it. So essentially what I decided to do is, you know what, we're gonna play some Palia. We're gonna start the streaming for the third wave, because I need to cheer myself up. I need to cheer myself up. I need to hype myself up. I need to get my train of thought somewhere other than the things that are annoying me. So here we are, day one of wave 3, and the things that we can get. Actually, let me click onto the Twitch tab, because let's not forget what happened last week, 2 days ago. Was it? It was Sunday. Would that be? No, that's considered this. I mean, I guess it depends how you measure the weeks, from when to when. Essentially, I have to have the Twitch tab open for the streaming count to work for me and me to actually get the drops. Because even though I said that I was going to just play somebody's stream in the background, I ended up not doing it, because after I was done streaming on Sunday, I haven't touched the game station again, and unfortunately for me, that means I didn't get the final drop. Sadness and woes, but that's fine. That is fine. So my looking, I'm not gonna be looking over there making where it looks like I'm looking at y'all, because my whole setup is a hot mess right now. It's not gonna let it get to me. So what I did after I got off stream, I did play a little bit. I wasn't at the computer though. Like I went to lay down and I played a little bit, and I did use the chart that Teddy gave us. It's in the Discord. I'll actually double check if the Discord link is current. Actually, the Discord link, I'm not sure if the Discord link that's gonna pop up eventually in my chat bot is a working one. Oh, nope, it decided to change again. Stop. Never, never. I never want it to change. I don't want you to keep changing the link. All right, I'll put the Discord link. You know when you have things set up a certain way and you just love the way that things are, and then stuff happens, like life happens, and you just need to and or decide to move things around, and you think it's gonna. This is my bedroom all over again. This is me moving my bedroom furniture all over again, where I thought we were gonna be in a great place, and then it was a horrible place for about 4 or 5 months until I got it all like rearranged. So if you're playing Palia, if you're trying to catch the drops, come on over to Twitch. What's my Twitch channel? I'm on twitch.tv/Natalia Ines. Natalia Ines, NATHALIAINES. So that you can catch the drops. Also, the Discord link. Why did I put that in there? Because if you go into our Discord and you go into the Palia gaming chat, you will see the PDF. No, it's not a PDF. You'll see the picture of the image file.
It's a picture of a PDF.
If a picture of a PDF, it might be, that Teddy found for us, where it shows you the ideal map of planting. And the reason you want to do all of the planting of all of the crops is so that you can make the monies. Now, I haven't been doing it exactly the way it's laid out, so that's why I'm financially challenged in the game. And in real life, but we're not gonna go there because I'm not trying to cry. We are at 3,500, even though I've bought a lot of stuff. I spent a lot of money, but we still have an acceptable amount of money. What is in the news? Are you talking about wave 3? Because was this the third thing? Wait, was this the third thing? Hold on, where's my thumbnails? Let me check my thumbnails, hold on. Because like, what was the thumbnail for last week? The thumbnail is my fast way of seeing what the drops were for wave 2. Wave 2. Oh no, that was the second drop, right? Ah, sadness. What do I win? A sad feeling. Ah, sadness. But it's fine. We got 2 of the 3 drops from wave 2, and we are going to make sure. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure that I started streaming today, because today, if I am not mistaken, is the first day of the 3rd wave. And if we start today, even if it's a short stream, we're still going to have a higher likelihood of getting the droppity drop drops, all 3 of them, since we have to do 3 hours of streaming. Well, I mean, I don't have to stream for 3 hours. I could just watch somebody else's stream, but I could also stream my own stuff, and it's 2 birds with 1 stone. So I really should have just put somebody's stream on while I was playing, because when I was doing the farming previously, was it Sunday or Monday? I don't think I played yesterday, so it would have been Sunday. Well, irrelevant. Whenever it was. I forgot what I was gonna say. I heard my mom, I heard my mom's voice, and it put me on alert already, because we kind of got into a tizzy. Love entitled people. Because like passive aggressiveness is totally fine when she's the one doing it, but like if anybody else does it, oh my goodness, Lord, how dare you? The audacity to do to me the things that I do to you. So that is like one of those things that's frustrating about, that's not even a Hispanic mom thing. That is like just like, there's way too many moms be like that in general, like all kinds of cultures and races and stuff. They just be like, they can be passive aggressive all day, but the moment that you do something similar, it's like, oh my god, all of a sudden it's a problem. So basically, my mom needed to get something out of the bottom cabinets in the kitchen. And so she got a rolling chair, like little workbench thing that my dad has. And she took it to the kitchen so she had somewhere to sit so she could find the thing that she needed. That's not the problem. Like, go off. Use the comfort of the things that you own to make your life easier. That's fine. The problem ensues when she then just leaves it there. It's been hours. And then multiple times different ones of us have gone into the kitchen and we're all kind of like almost tripping over this thing that she just like left in the kitchen. I don't know why. I'm probably going to mispronounce that and I apologize, but thank you for liking the stream. I'm so happy with the poppity pop-ups. I just need to change the timing so they last a little bit longer now, so that if it takes me a while to like read your name, which I might butcher and I apologize, it gives me a little bit more time to do the reading of the names. So back to the story time. I eventually go into the kitchen a little bit ago and I almost trip over this rolling chair. And I'm like, wow, I wonder who left this in the kitchen. And she's like, oh, what are you talking about? Like, she doesn't know. She knows because she left it there. And then she's like, oh, I could leave whatever I want in my house. I'm like, it's not just your house. And okay, so like, why is it okay for you to just move stuff around and leave it randomly where it doesn't belong, yet if somebody else does that, you're all of a sudden pitching a fit? She's like, I could do whatever I want in my house. I'm like, okay, well then by that standard, any one of us could do whatever we want in our house. And she's like, this is not your house. I'm like, well, last time I checked, my dad's house is my house, so I didn't say that part. That part stayed on the inside. But I'm saying it now to y'all because she doesn't support my stuff and she doesn't watch my content, so. Which is fine, because like, she's not a gamer, so what would she even get from this? She would get a boredom, a waste of time, which is fine, but I'm just like so over the whole passive aggressive thing. And it's like, she could do whatever she would, doesn't matter. It's only a problem when other people do it. And I was like, if it's problematic for other people, for you, if it's problematic for other people to do something, it's problematic if you do the same stuff as well. Especially something as hazardous as leaving a whole rolling, like, it's not a chair, it's like one of those like mechanic stool things, so it's also not at eye level, not something that you're necessarily looking at or expecting to be there when you walk into a room, especially not when you walk into the kitchen. Meanwhile, had I done that, all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're trying to kill me. It's like, no. She's trying to kill me. She's trying to give me high blood pressure. I'm not even 40 and she's trying to like give me all kinds of struggles. And I know, and I've seen it happen to other non-Hispanic people, and so I know it's not a Hispanic thing. I don't know what it is about certain people. They just think they're entitled to do whatever the heck they want, and they can yell at you and get on your case about it, but then if you make a commentary of when they do the exact same thing or similar or worse, it's like, oh, it's unacceptable for you to have commentary on my shortcomings, but I can talk about every single thing that you do even slightly remotely wrong. Those are the moments where they're like my weakness moments, where I almost like, why isn't my chatbot triggering? What's going on with the chatty chatbots? Social Stream Ninja. Let me check this real quick, guys. Hold on. Where are you? No, it's not that one. Where are you? Is it this one? I think it's this one. Yeah, why aren't they going off? They're turned on. Well, I guess I'll just put it in myself since chatbot is being weird and doesn't want to pop these things in. So it's just frustrating. Those are the types of situations and moments where, like I said, it's my weak moments of being like, I should just move. And then I'm like, yeah, that's not the best situation for you know. Like, we put up with a lot for our kids, and you know, among that is non-ideal situations so that, you know, your kids could have the best possible, like, support system. And being with family is a better support system than not being with family. But those are the moments where I'm like, the moment I get, you know, like my income tax, or the moment I get this or I get that, I am moving. Because it's so uncomfortable to live with someone like that. Small doses. There are some people, and you know, I'm not, someone has to be like really, really terrible for me to be an advocate of like cutting people off, because we all have moments where we react less than ideal to others around us. So like, I'm not sitting here being perfect and saying that I never make mistakes, or that I'm always right, or that I never do the messy passive aggressive stuff. I do it on occasion. I do it a lot less than she's doing up here. But you know, it's just like, some people are only good in small doses. Like, we could be neighbors. That's about it. That's about it. But anyways, I don't think I'm gonna stream for too long, because I was just trying to get myself out of the annoyance of the things that have kind of just happened back to back to get on my nerves. Hey, I hit you. I was hoping I'd get the leg. Come on, I know I was at a distance, but I've gotten the little caribou things from farther away, and it's worked. It wasn't even a starred one. It's just trying to... It's not trying to do anything. It is all me. Jenny! Hello, and welcome to a short, late stream. Later in the evening stream. I was planning to stream early today. I wanted to do it around 3, but I made the mistake of trying to, like, wait for the new monitor stands. Mistakes were made. I know better this time. Should have just streamed with my setup the way it was. Isn't that annoying? When you're expecting something to arrive and you think it's just gonna be like the solution to all of the things, and then it arrives and you like go ahead to execute whatever it is, and you're just like, that is not what I was expecting, and this is kind of not meeting my needs. Like, that is so annoying, you know, like, it happens with everything. It happens with shoes. Like, if you order shoes and you see these shoes and they're so gorgeous online, and you get them and they're the size that you wear every other shoe in, and then it arrives and you're like, this is not fit. This is not outfit, or like you'll get clothes. Oh, one of the ones that annoys me a lot, and it really, as Peter Griffin says, grinds my gears, is when you go online, and so I'm plus size, because I'm like, I wear like a size 11, 12, which is plus size, let's be honest. We like to pretend it's not, but it is. We like to live in delusion to feel better, but let's just be honest with ourselves. And so sometimes I'll be on a website and I'll see something and it'll have multiple different pictures, and one of them will be like a skinny person. Yeah, okay, cool, no problem. I don't have to go off. You're doing the work that I'm not. I'm not mad at you about it. I'm more disappointed in myself because I don't want to do the work and put in the effort. But I'm not going to be mad at somebody else because they put in the effort. But anyways, they'll have like the first model will be like the skinnier person with it on. And then they have other people modeling it. And then they'll have that one person that they're like, oh, this is a plus size model. And they'll be like, this person is wearing a size whatever. And you're like, oh, it's good. Oh, if that's the size, it'll look good on me. Dig through the pile of dirt. Okay, how am I digging through it? Unearth a trove of treasures. How do I dig through this? I don't have a shovel. So how exactly am I digging through it? Was it just that newspaper thing? Was that what it was? Because it said like I got a newspaper. Is it this? Oh, there it is, a newspaper. Semi-chewed newspaper. Okay, I wonder. Oh, Tao. Tao has been looking for this. Okay, great. Is that flag no longer on my map for this? Okay, the flag is gone. That is what it was looking for. Okay, great. Because this was like annoying the life out of me, if I'm completely frank. I can find Tao now and give him this chewed up newspaper. But first, I should go home and empty my inventory. Although I should probably feed myself. Are any of these at just one? Yeah, feeding myself isn't going to help that much. Okay, so back to what grinds my gears. Where you'll be like, oh, okay, so this plus size model, and they'll say it like in the image and stuff, but, oh, this is, or in the description or whatever. And it's like, this is a plus size model, and I'm like, okay, cool. So that's going to look comparable on me, because like plus size model, plus size body, we're good. It's gonna look great. And then I go ahead and my monitors are less bright. Ooh, and that's super bright. Okay, so our options are we're a ghost or we are barely visible. I think I like barely visible better. Okay, it's not barely visible, but it's like super dark. Should put the brightness up on the screens, but all of the extra things is just gonna add to my frustration. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna frustrate myself anymore. Also, what's the fastest way to get home? I could just teleport. That is the fastest way to get home. So whatever it is, you get it and you're like, yeah, no, this is totally gonna look great on me. And then it arrives and you know, you shake it out, get all the wrinkles out of it, and you're like, yeah, this is gonna go great. This is gonna go great because like they said that one model was a plus size model, and so this is gonna work out. And then you put it on and you're like, especially when it's something like I don't know what it is with stitching recently. It might be like just so many things we don't expect to be fast fashion end up actually still being fast fashion, where you get this item and you get it in the size that it should fit, right? Like, so you're a 12, so you get it in a 12. Like, you read all the descriptions, it should perfectly fit, and then somehow you put it on and you're like, okay, like, can somebody come and get the zipper for me? Because I can't. even really, you just like, the sleeves are like super short and tight, and you're just like, if I move, I'm gonna rip this. And then you just feel bad. And then you just feel even bad, because then you're like, this is supposed to be the size that I wear. According to the description on the website and their photos, this size should fit me and we should be good. And yet here I go, feeling like waddling around like a penguin, and like a penguin sausage. Like you're a penguin and a sausage all at once. I know what I'm supposed to be doing is planting as I go, but I don't. Oh, I did have bok choy. I thought I was out of bok choy. But also, the plots are disappearing. The plot thins because it's so thin, it's disappearing. Look, I don't know if you're crying at me talking about it or crying at remembering it happening to you, because it is just so tragic. Like, you see it, and sometimes you'll get it out of the bag and you're like, this looks suspiciously like it's not gonna go well. But you're still hopeful, like maybe it's just because I just got it out of the bag. And like, if I grab it, you know, shake it out, in your mind you're just like, I can make this work, because they said that this is what it looked like on a plus size model, and they said that the plus size model wears an 8 or a 12, so like, I wear an 11, 12, so it should work out. Like, these things make sense. And when it's not that thing where the stitching, like, they stitch it so terribly, like, you're in there in something that's allegedly the size that, you know, you are and that you wear in every other brand of clothing, which is the other thing that gets me. Like, it'll be something where in most things I'm a size 11, but size 11 isn't that common. Look, it hurts my feelings in person too, because I'll look at there are certain brands that they just want to make you feel bad. There's no other way for me to explain it and express it. They just want to make you feel bad, because they will have, like, I've had brands where I go and look at something and they won't have it. They don't have it in the odd numbers, you know, the odd numbers being 9, 11, 13 and whatnot. So they'll do like 12, 14, 16, and I'm like, okay, I'm normally an 11, so let me try a 12, and then they won't have a 12, so I'll be like, well, you know, I dabble in sewing, so maybe I can get a 14, and like, this we get into me, maybe, and I'll just think like, maybe I could get a 14 and just, you know, bring it in, you know, deal with the stitching, I'll bring it in. And then you put the 14 on, and the 14 is like, nope. You thought this was gonna, well, you thought wrong. So then you're just in the dressing room having this whole identity crisis with yourself, like, hold on, but I wear an 11. What is happening? Are all the brands that I wear 11s in, are they lying? Are they fake 11s? And then this is a real 14 and I still don't fit into it? How much bigger am I than I actually think? And you're just going through these whole like this whole existential crisis, because I don't even know what I don't even know what they would get out of it. What benefit do they get from making people feel bad? But it feels like they do it on purpose. Like, we need to find a universal decide, like sizing. We need to do something, because this is just, it's just too much. What's supposed to be here? I was looking for the chart. Look, it just gets. And then they have those giant mirrors in the dressing room too. So you're in the dressing room looking at yourself like, this looks terrible. Like, there's a certain extra layer to it too when you're like, see something online at a store that also has brick and mortar. So, and there's a brick and mortar nearby to you. So you're just kind of like, this has happened to me. I don't know if this happened to any of y'all, but I'll see it on the website and I'm like, oh, you know, I could probably go into the store and find this and try it on, instead of going through the whole debacle of waiting for it to arrive and seeing if it's gonna fit and whatnot. And so it's supposed to be rice. This is rice. Rice goes there. Okay. So then, like, you've already seen it in the photos and the stuff online, and you have your idea of what size you're gonna be, and then you go into the store and it's like you thought you were gonna be your regular size, but we just thought that we would make you cry today. So have fun with that. So clothes I don't even buy clothes that often anymore because clothes are just so detrimental to my emotional state that I'm just like, yeah, if it fits, we are wearing it down until the fabric just like dot. You know, you ever kept clothes so long, especially with pants? Thigh girls, thick thigh girls, y'all will understand. Y'all are gonna catch it because this probably happens to all thick thigh girls. Because your thighs are always rubbing together. Oh, those mirrors are just trash. Or the places where like you can't, like they won't have the two mirrors, it'll just be one mirror, and if you want to see yourself from every angle, you'll have to go outside. It's like the walk of shame. Like can I just have dual mirrors in every single dressing room so that I could see myself and just not have to take this walk of shame outside for other people to see me. Like, y'all don't need to see me. Like, I can suffer this alone. Please let me suffer through this alone. We don't need to all share in my pain. So like I'll find clothes. So okay, the thigh things. Look, I have pants. I have kit pants. I think my oldest pair of sweatpants. Now they are good quality, but my oldest pair of like sweatpants are from when I graduated high school. Right? I graduated high school in 2003. And I still wear them. They're in good shape. It is great quality, and we are wearing those down until they're like, look, it's so hard to find clothes that'll fit you that when I find something, we're like, well, you know, we're stuck together until you just like threadbare. And God only help this item of clothing if whatever goes wrong with it is something that I can fix. Because if I can fix it, if I can stitch it here, you know, do a little bit of alterations there, we're keeping it even longer. We are just friends for life. That's all it is. We're together forever. I am a bok choy harvester. So I don't have enough seeds to keep doing the map, so I'm just gonna put down all the seeds that I have. Yeah, when clothes fit me, we're like, it's like we're gonna be stuck together like a bad habit, because like otherwise I'm gonna have to be out here trying to find good comfortable fitting clothes is like finding a good relationship and finding a good friendship. Is like, this is for life. Like, this is till death do us part. I don't know what you were expecting, but I hope that you're prepared. Pants, shirts, whatever item of clothing you are. I'm the same with shoes too. It's like we're wearing you out. And depending on your quality, it's not even till the soles come off, because I could take you to a shoemaker. What is the actual name for that? I guess it is just it's not a shoemaker, but you know those, I mean, they can make shoes if they want to, but the people that repair shoes, I have changed zippers out, like, oh, the zipper broke, it's okay, we'll just put a new one in. Holes, I know how to stitch that. It's like, look. I do not do, it's a little bit more sustainable too, because I don't do fast fashion. I've tried to see if I find any quality stuff from some of the in the past, to see if I find anything worthwhile at any of the like fast fashion websites. Because let's be honest, some of their stuff be cute. It be looking cute, but it does not fit cute. And I keep giving them chances, like every couple of months or like once a year. I'll be like, oh, this really cute thing that popped up in an ad, I think I like it. I think I want to give it a chance. And then I regret it. Because then it's also so cheap that it's almost a waste of time to like try and return it. Because all the hoops they make you jump through as well is like, my time is worth more than these $5. But look, clothes just be like, clothes be out here trying to make you cry for no reason. It's like, what did I do to you? What did I even do to you? I just met you today. Why are you so cruel?
You decided to live in America, therefore become
I actually did not get overweight just from being here. I didn't get overweight until like a year and a half after a year and a half after you were born. So it wasn't even pregnancy. It was depression. And then I got over the depression, but then losing all the weight just seemed insurmountable. It's like, you know, you kind of like let yourself go when you're in a state of depression. No, like a year after. Also, first of all, postpartum is real. First of all, postpartum is real. Second of all, I said you were like a year and a half old. And my life was falling apart, irrespective of how happy I was to have you in my life. My life genuinely felt like it was falling apart in every other aspect. Get some moanings. I didn't even pay attention to how much money that was going to give me. Good amount, $2,700, not bad. Yeah, no, I was struggling with the depression, and then it was like you come out on the other side, and if your consolation, the way you console yourself while you're struggling with depression is like eating, then it's terrible when you get to the other side of the depression, because you're like, oh yeah, I've learned to manage my emotions, and you know, I have all these great strategies that I work through with my doctors and counselors and group therapy and all of the things. And then you get to, like, you're on the other side of it, you think everything's good, and then you look in the mirror for the first time, you know, after taking the depression goggles on, and it's almost like they pop right back on your face, like, oh yeah, you thought you were good? Look at all the damage you did while you were mired in an emotional inability to cope with what you were going through. Fun times. Have a good time. Good luck. Like, depression treatment should come. Okay, hot take. Controversial take. Part of treating depression should include, like, some sort of diet pill. I know not everybody agrees with the diet pills and stuff like that, but you don't have to accept it, but it should at least be offered.
I've heard
No.
What?
That, I'm pretty sure that caused death, and so it was, like, discontinued. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure there were actual, other than the unfortunate name they gave themselves, I'm pretty sure there was actual side effects, and that's why they stopped marketing the item. Because you could just rebrand if it was just a naming issue. Ooh, Clary Robert just followed. Yay, thank you.
Okay, so mine is caused strokes.
Yeah, like I said.
Right.
Hi, Clary. I am well. How are you? We are over here trying to get the drops. Do you play Palia? Because I am hopeful for getting all of the drops from Wave 3 I missed the third drop though from last wave.
Okay, wait. So this says one of the main clues was finally cropped animalism for mine. Is a stimulant for dogs to control bladder function. It was outlawed in Canada and causes excessive sweating, drying up of mucus glands, and strokes.
Yeah, and strokes. I love how they put that at the end. Like the worst possible side effect. May cause death. I also play a lot of Nintendo games, so mostly Nintendo, a couple of Steam games. The things that I'm most consistently playing right now are Palia, Fae Farm. Eventually, we do need to get back around to Super Mario. What am I playing right now? Super Mario.
You're playing Palia.
Super Mario RPG.
No, you're playing Palia.
Not at the, you know that I don't mean exactly at this moment.
I did not.
I said, what other game am I playing?
I had let Aaron.
Oh, okay, then I left the other part in my mind. It'd be like that sometimes. This one is what I'm consistently streaming right now because it is having the Twitch drop event. It's been going on, this is the third week that it's in Twitch drop. I do have a lot of customizable stuff for my channel already. Other than the things that are already on there, I have an entire folder of things that my mod has made for me. He's my mod and my artist. I just haven't put them on because I get distracted a lot. And I'm actually currently going through some struggles where I pretty much can't sit for very long. Sciatica, fun, wouldn't wish it on anybody. But once I'm done streaming, I'm done. It's like
That
going
sounds
to...
like a metal
Sounds like a metal band. I mean, that might be the case. You never know, there might be a sciatica metal band out there. But yeah, once I finish streaming, it's like I exceed my time limit for sitting, and I haven't had the opportunity to put everything, all the banners and all the things where it goes. The only thing I did do recently, oh, there he is, Teddy! That is what I was about to say. I was about to pop into the Twitch chat and put the teddy bears all. Because that is, of all the things that you have made and sent for me, that's the only ones that I've actually put to use. Because it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. We should make some more emojis. How long have we been streaming? 45 minutes. I need 15 more minutes. Actually, I'm gonna need more than 15 minutes because as we figured out last live stream, if I don't have it on the Twitch tab, I don't get the drops. And there was a couple of things that I had to resolve after I started streaming that put me in the situation where I had to, ooh, yay! Where I had to switch tabs, especially when Social Stream Ninja was acting up. So every second. Can y'all just stop running and let me kill you? Hey, stop moving! There should be like a handheld weapon, like there should be like a finishing knife. Is that a little dark? Like this game. Is it a little dark to say that there should be like a finishing knife? Like when you're shooting at game and you get close enough, like there should be the capacity to press a button and then you just like, finishing move, finishing stab. It's like a finishing knife stab. Would that be too graphic for
Yeah.
somewhat of a I mean, you're shooting animals with arrows and you're fishing, which is like you're ending creatures' lives. So like, How much darker than shooting arrows at it is it to just be like, you know, finishing stab? It doesn't have to show like blood or anything. It could just do sparkles, like the way it does when you shoot arrows. There's like sparkles. So it could just be sparkle, sparkle, stab. It's totally fine. It is still glitched out? That sucks. Have you messaged support at all? Because it's possible you're not the only one it's happening to, so, you know, if you let support know, maybe they can fix it the next time they do some fixes. Sorry, I need to shoot you in the face, please. That's not the face. That's a shoulder. Ooh, Pallium. Should I shoot this with a flare? Do I have flares? I do. Okay, I guess. It won't be much, but it's a little bit. For everyone who comes before it despawns. Ah. Why y'all gotta move right when I'm about to shoot you? I'm telling you, that would be like an amazing update. You just get a finishing knife move. I think everyone who plays Palia would agree that that would be an amazing feature. Teddy, what do you think? The wolves are terrible. The only time I've gotten them is if I shoot it right in the face. But 9 out of 10 times, if I'm aiming, I'm able to get it in the face, it's like, it's looking at me and it runs away. Like, can you just be still while I harvest your organs? But anyways, Jenny, would you say that that wouldn't be just the most ideal thing for them to do? Like, just have a finishing knife? Where, like, as you're chasing the Cernuks, you can just get close to it and, like, finishing knife. So annoying. Ooh, he hit it somehow. Yay. Move gens. Oh no. Did you try to shoot something and accidentally flare it? Don't worry, girl, that happens to me all the time. All of the time. Don't feel bad. It happens to all of us. Yes. $15 minutes. 10 minutes. Green light, go. It's never a green light. Well, I mean, you know, 7 out of 10 times it's not actually a green light. They lie. They lie so much. Military be out here like, no, there's a break in the wind. Y'all can jump out. Really? And then I'm running around picking people up, but they're like being strangled by their parachute straps. I feel like this would suggest that maybe the weather was not appropriate for you to have them jumping out of that aircraft. They don't care. Like, 80 seconds don't care. Like, we gotta get our jumps in so that we can get paid for this. Oh, I'm out of arrows. Oh no. So basically, this random reference that I went into is the 82nd Airborne. They are airborne, which means they jump out of perfectly good planes. Not helicopters. The one who jump out of helicopters are air assault. And they are not at Fort Bragg. So, 82nd Airborne out of Fort Bragg, they have to do a certain number of jumps to stay qualified and keep getting their jump pay. So they will regularly go out on missions where it's just like they just jump so that they can keep getting their jump pay. And what they do, unfortunately, what happens a lot of the times is they'll be on the aircraft and the weather tells you, like, you know, before the aircraft takes off, there shouldn't be people jumping out of aircrafts in the weather, because the standard says that if it's a certain speed of wind, like if the wind is at certain knots, you're just not supposed to be doing that because it's a hazard. But because they're so concerned with maintaining their jump pay, once they're already in the air, the jump masters will just randomly be like, yeah, there's a break in the wind, it's good, jump, jump, green light, go. And it's like, it is not, no, this is not a green light. Says who? Who in their right minds? They don't care. Most of the times the jump masters don't even jump out. I think maybe they meet their requirements by just being on the aircraft and shoving other people off of it. And I think when I was in the Army, it was only like an extra extra $150 a month is really nothing to scoff at. But I don't know that I would necessarily risk my life for it. I've told a portion of this before, like on stream. I wanted to be 5'9" because when I was in my late teens, I wanted to be a model. And at that time, like, the minimum, the barrier to entry for being a model was like you had to be at least 5'9". Like, you didn't really see people shorter than that modeling, being like regular models. And so that was my dream. I already wanted to be 5'9". I'm not 5'9", I'm 5'7", so I was already disappointed in my inability to meet my height goals for the career that I wanted, for what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I wanted to be a model. And I signed up, I volunteered. I did actually volunteer to be airborne. However, while we were, it's like they give you it's almost like they give you a second chance, like just in case you change your mind. They talk to you about it. And there was we're in this auditorium, there's this big thing, and they're talking to people to make sure that, double check, because if you go to airborne, okay, so when you join the Army, you go to basic training, and then from basic training, you're supposed to go to job training, also known as AIT. So if you choose to be airborne, you will go to airborne school either before you go to AIT or before you go to your duty station. But you will come out of your training with your basic training done, your job training done, and your airborne training done. So while they were doing, it was almost like the sales pitch, but it was a terrible pitch. I don't even know who I heard it from directly, specifically, but somebody was like, oh yeah, it compresses your joints. Like, all of the jumping out of aircraft compresses your joints. And I'm like, I beg your pardon, what? Compresses what? And they're like, well, it's not gonna do it right away, but yeah, it's gonna, everybody shrinks as they get older, but you just shrink a little bit faster if you're airborne. I'm like, unvolunteer me, please.
They didn't say that you would, like, it would be accelerated, but you would still shrink at the same amount of time.
No, the impact compresses your joints at a rate that an average person does not suffer. So you do actually, apparently, allegedly, shrink more as you age if you have spent, 4 years plus jumping out of aircraft about once every 2 months. It's either once every 2 months or once every 3 months. Maybe it wasn't once a month, because I know we weren't able to get them up there once a month. I think it's once a quarter you have to jump to maintain your jump pay. So, like, yeah, no, I wasn't about to do that. no. I was like, they said that, like, that came up in conversation in between, like, instructors speaking on the stage, and I was just like, I'm sorry, what? What? No, unvolunteer me, please. So, like, after they go through this whole spiel, they're like, they verify, like, of the people that had said that they wanted to go airborne. So basically, it's like you say you want to go airborne, and they take you to, and then one of the days they have this thing, this presentation, and the people that wanted to go airborne, they go to that presentation. If at the end of the presentation you still want to go airborne, you fill out the paperwork, and then they change your duty station. Because if you choose to go airborne, you're either going to Italy or you're going to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. But I didn't care about the possibility of going to Italy. They told me you're going to shrink faster, and I said, I'm going to go. Like, we are done. I'm not doing this. I spent 8 years in Fort Bragg, North Carolina, home of the airborne, and I was constantly asked if I wanted to go airborne, and I consistently told them no. I'm like, no, y'all can shrink if you want to. I'm already not tall enough, okay? So we're not playing these games. Like, I'm already shorter than I wanted to be, so I'm not going to help my joints deteriorate and compress faster, because it's not just compression, there's also the deterioration aspect of it because of shenanigans like what I was talking about before. They would be, I mean, we're talking winds that are blowing where you're like fighting against the wind, and they're like, yeah, no, it'll calm down. No, it's not gonna calm down. Y'all are just trying to force this because you don't want to lose your $150. And then once you're strapped in and you're up in the air, it had to be some, I think, I'm going to tell you guys, I never went airborne, so I always ended up being the person who was on the ground waiting for the people that jumped and helping them gather up their parachutes and going out to rescue people that didn't land on the actual expected landing area, landing zone. So I got to be the truck driver going out to rescue people when they went too far off course because the wind was too crazy and they shouldn't have jumped out of the airplane in the first place. But I just used to be in these situations where I'm prepping and I'm getting ready to go out with these guys, and I don't want to because it's going to waste my time, because it's going to be past 5 p.m. and I'm still going to be at work, and you don't get paid overtime. You're just, you have a salary, and that is what you get, whether they make you work 8 hours a day or 4 hours a day. You're a fixed salary. So I didn't like jump days. And there was many a jump days where I'm like, my uniform was just like making all kinds of special sound effects and stuff is blowing away in the wind, and I'm just like, I'm looking at all these people like putting on all their gear to jump out of an aircraft when the wind is that intense, and I'm like, are y'all for real right now? Over $150? Like, I get an extra $150 a month is great, but like y'all for real right now? They were for real. They're just jumping out of those aircraft, and I'm like, I can guarantee you that it was not clear. Y'all shouldn't have even gotten up there. Like, the aircraft shouldn't have even taken off. But miraculously, there would always be a break in the clouds. There's a break in the wind. It's like, no, there isn't. Like, trees are falling. What are you talking about? And you can't not jump. Like, you can't decline a jump. I'm sure, like, technically you could if you, but you would probably lose, I don't know what the consequences would be if you decline to jump. But if you're on the aircraft, like, if you haven't gotten on the aircraft, you can try to make up some excuse to not go on that day and do a jump. But once you're, like, on the aircraft, if you can't find an excuse to not go on that jump that day, and you're already on the aircraft, I don't know if you can decline jumping out of a perfectly good aircraft when the winds are so bad that it's like, and then everybody tries to peer pressure everybody else, like, oh, you're being a wuss, and all these other things. But I literally, I served with the guy. Like, we had staff duty together, and staff duty is, well, certain offices and certain desks in the military, like in the Army, like staff duty, and your company will have overnight. It'll be manned. It'll be staffed for 24 hours, and they usually have 2 people on there so that one person can kind of doze off if they want to for a little bit, and then you can kind of take turns of at least having one person awake. Technically, you're both supposed to be awake, but let's be real, we're humans, and that don't be happening unless you're on drugs, on like tons of 5-hour energy that's just gonna like mess up your heart rate. But I was on staff duty with this one sergeant. Huh? No, not just. Those are from Teddy. They were a while ago, but I don't take them off the screen. I let it stay being a scrolling marquee. Unless there was there a new notification, or are you talking about this? Yeah, the scrolling, it happens, but it didn't happen just now. So I'm on staff duty with this sergeant, and I'm looking at him. And he was easily about 200 pounds overweight. And if you're overweight in the military, they give you a limited period of time to get yourself in the proper shape, down to the acceptable weight. And I'm looking at this man, and I'm like, you do not meet the standard. Because I don't think I'm exaggerating. I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say this man was about 200 pounds overweight. And we start talking, because we're on duty 24 hours, so you just start talking to each other. Hashtag trauma bonding. And he tells me that the reason that he's able to stay in the military in the shape that he's in is because it's their fault that he's like that. He had an airborne accident and shattered so many bones in his body that he was like in a full body cast and like just unable to move for a long time, had to relearn how to walk and everything. And in the midst of all that, yeah, he wasn't exercising, he was barely moving, he was like blessed to be alive. And so he started gaining weight, and then it just ballooned to a crazy degree. And they didn't, when it happened, he'd already been in long enough to where they were going to have to pay him like his full retirement, basically. So they would have to start doing it earlier. So in the military, if you do 20 years active duty, you get your full retirement benefits the day after you out process from the military. And in Fort Bragg, you get a dragon stamp. So like the day after you get your dragon stamp, you are officially a civilian, and you get all of the benefits, you know, whatever it is you're going to get. If you're going to get your retirement, it starts from that day. And what they basically said, it was because he was going to, because of how much they were going to have to pay him regardless, they were just like, you know what, just give us your full 20. Okay, I mean, that's... Anyways, so they, you know, they were just like, just give us your full 20. You're not gonna deploy. And he was just waiting it out. That's all he did, was like staff duty, because they weren't letting him out. And he didn't do much, because like staff duty, you're just sitting there pulling papers. When people come back from vacation or when they go to sign out for vacation, that's when you just like you're the person who's there and just signing them in and signing them out and addressing other things. But if I ever thought maybe I'll go airborne, having met him, I was like, oh, and you thought that I had a baby going airborne? It's gone now. It's gone. We're not. I mean, he survived, but there are people that don't survive. There are people that do not survive airborne missions. And you would think, and they're not actual missions, because like all you're doing is jumping out of an aircraft and praying to God that your parachute deploys, and if your main doesn't deploy, that your, you know, that your emergency chute is gonna deploy. Like, yeah, pray to God. I'm just $150, y'all. For $150 a month, they're just putting their life on the line like that every single time. You're just like, yeah, no, because you never know which jump could be the one that's just gonna be like, yep, you're gonna land in a tree, or your parachute's not gonna deploy. Good luck. It's crazy. My wall, that's a curtain. It's a partition. For privacy. It's not for privacy. Well, I mean, it is for privacy, but it's mostly for the privacy of y'all don't have to deal with my hot mess. I'm also sparing y'all from the cacophony of messes behind the partition. You just be going through some stuff in the military. Military be interesting. I mean, all jobs have their quirks and stuff about them, but it's just like, I think of my time in the Army, and I'm like, what was this mess? We live in a place, we live in a air traffic route, so there's a lot of aircraft that go all over here, including military aircraft. So sometimes we'll have C-130s go above us, and my brother was over here, and we were sitting outside, and my dad goes out, and he's like, oh, look, it's a military plane, right? And I'm like, yeah, it's a C-130. And they're like, oh, have you ever been on one of those? I'm like, yeah, I've been on one of those. And he's like, those are the ones that carry vehicles, right? And I was like, well, they carry vehicles and they carry people. And sometimes they carry people and vehicles together at the same time. Because when I went on my first deployment, that's what we were on, because we had to take our equipment with us. We had to take our vehicles with us. So the vehicles were, you know, we drove them up, we strapped them up, and then those of us that were deploying, because it was a detachment, we were just on the sides. And there's no seats. There's no comfy airplane seats. It's like these mesh things that are just like, this is a tragedy. I'll actually put it in the Discord. I'll put a photo of it in the Discord. Where's my cursor? And at one point, this is a good one. Oh, actually, this is a good one. Because this is about how we were flying. No, but I'll grab a image of it empty. But pop that in the Discord. We'll put that in general chat. Okay. So these seats were not comfortable, and we flew from North Carolina to where did we lay over? I think we did a layover. I think that time we did a layover in Germany. Or was Germany on the way home? Because the places I've had to do layovers in were Kazakhstan, the threat level went up, so we ended up staying there for like 3 days, which is terrible because all our bags were like packed and you only had your carry-on. But they told us, just in case, make sure your carry-on has like your toothbrush and stuff and maybe some underwear, so at least we weren't in a worse situation, fortunately. But like I didn't put enough stuff in my carry-on to be stuck somewhere for 3 days, so that was a little uncomfortable. But at least I was able to brush my teeth and, you know, hit the hot spots. But I've had done layovers in Ireland and Germany, and I'm pretty sure it was Germany when we were, but I think Germany was on the way back. Where did we lay over? Did we even do a layover on the way to Kuwait? Because I'm remembering that we got in-air refueling. Like, we were mid-flight and we got refueled, so we didn't even have to land for refueling. So now I'm wondering, I'm trying to think, I'm gonna have to ask. I have a couple of people I could ask, the people that were in that detachment with me, because I don't remember if we did a layover on the way there. We did a layover on the way back for sure, because we flew commercial on the way back because we didn't have to bring our equipment with us, because our equipment got sent back on a freighter. Like we sent it back. Did we fly it back or put it on a boat back? I think we put it on a boat back. We cleared customs, and then customs is whatever they do, customs be doing, and it eventually got to us when we came back home. But on the way there, because we were a detachment, I guess that was the excuse, we flew with our equipment. So like, if you go, I'm gonna put the Discord link in the chat again. So we had the equipment just like strapped into the middle of the aircraft. Let's see, Control V. There it is. There's the Discord. There's the Discord. I pressed paste, but it didn't paste. And so we had our equipment in the middle of the aircraft, and we were on the sides. And at one point, and here's the thing about a lot of military aircraft, they don't turn the lights off. It's not like a commercial aircraft where you just like turn the lights off, and the lights that they have on are minimal, so the military don't care about bothering people. So I remember at one point I got underneath one of our vehicles, and in hindsight, I'm like, the hubris. Mind you, I was 20, so like, yeah, when you're 20, you do a lot of dumb stuff. But like in hindsight, I'm like, the hubris to think that it was totally okay to just like, you know, I need to take a nap, and these seats, these, sorry, excuse for seats that we have are so uncomfortable, and I can't just like lay down here in the middle of the tiny bit of space that they're, oh, you're leaving? Oh, hold on. And we are back. Apologies, my brother popped in to say that he was leaving. And I went to give him some huggles. So, like in hindsight, some of the decisions that I made in the military, in my 20s. Welcome, Titty. You made it home safe. Good, good, good. I'm glad. So yeah, some of the decisions that you make in your 20s are just like questionable at best. Because like, I think back on that, I'm like, you legit just like laid down underneath a whole up-armored Humvee that was like fastened by some cloth nylon straps. Like, it wasn't even chained. I mean, you know, the straps are kind of somewhat reliable, but just in general, it's not like, not a decision that I would make again. But there wasn't really anywhere else to like lay down, and I was just so exhausted. So I was just like, yeah, and just lay down under this truck. The hubris, the total and absolute hubris, to just be like, yeah, no, I'll lay down into this truck and it's totally okay. So we have made it past the first hour. Yay! And I got the first drop, which is great. So, action acquired. Okay, hold on, Stripe. We gotta make, this is important. I just got a notification from Stripe, which is what I have my Ko-Fi donation link with. Oh wait, what? From where? From who? I can deal with that later. It's not the account that I have linked to my Ko-Fi, so it's fine. But yeah, I have these moments where I'll sit and think about like my experiences and things that I did and went through when I was in the military, and I just think like, the hubris, hello, Jesus Christ, welcome to the stream on the Twitch. I'm assuming everybody who comes in on Twitch is trying to get the drops. I just got my first drop and I'm going to look at it, which I was gonna do at home, and I don't know why I just left, but like the hubris. I wonder if there's a I need to look up if there's a statute of limitation for some of the things before I tell them on stream, just to make sure I don't be out here getting myself in trouble. But like that one's fine. Like, but seriously, the hubris to be like, no, this up-armored LMTV, it's totally secured with these straps. I can take a nap underneath it because yeah, there's nowhere else to lay down on this C-130 on the way to Kuwait. Like, it'll be fine. I mean, it was fine because obviously I'm still here, but I think I am quite sure. But it was just like, yeah. I was also, I'm not confrontational now, and I wasn't back then, per se, but I was a lot more confrontational than I am now, especially if it came to something with my friends. Oh my god, I had like zero patience for people disrespecting my friends. So there are times. There's one time. Now I love heels. I still love heels. I just can't wear them because my body's shot from the knees down, basically. Well, you know, the orthopedic specialist told me that I could wear heels, but I could also, you know, put myself on the fast track for bilateral amputation, and not really something I'm vibing with. So we gave up on heels after that. I was out with my friends, and it was me and my roommate and two of our guy friends, and we went to Waffle House because everything happens at Waffle House. That's where everything happens in the South. Like, if you're living in the South, you know, we can commiserate. Everything happens at Waffle House. So we went to the club, and after the club, well, that's where you were born, in the South, not at Waffle House. You were not born in Waffle House. Because I knew that's where you were going. But we had gotten to the club, we left the club. Mind you, this was right after deployment too. There is something about coming back from deployment that you're just more volatile and you're just more likely to get yourself in trouble. So we were at Waffle House after the club. So we're talking like 3 o'clock in the morning. And we weren't there as couples. We were just there as friends, but it was 2 girls and 2 guys. So to anyone who sees us, who doesn't know us, we're just gonna look like two couples on like a hangout double date after the club type of situation. Because that's the most logical conclusion when you see two girls and two boys, and you know, we're sitting in a way, in a configuration where it just looks like we're on a date. So, and we did that on purpose because like my friend and I, we were just trying, my female friend and I, we were just trying to have fun. We didn't want to get hit on. We were like, we're just out here to have fun with our guy friends. We're just trying to unblind after this deployment. We don't want to be approached because the whole deployment 10 thing is real. So you add about 8 points when you're deployed. So if you're already like a 6, is a struggle. So you get tired of it. You get tired of it. And you get tired of feeling like a piece of meat at a butcher shop. Like, it gets old after a while. Also because a lot of soldiers are very disrespectful and they'll like grab at you. I don't know what barn they're raised in where they think that's okay, but okay. So we just wanted to, we just wanted to go out with guy friends so that we wouldn't get hit on because we wanted to have fun and just be chill. These two guys, these random two guys, are at Waffle House checking us out, and she and I noticed, and we're uncomfortable, and we tell our guy friends, like, this is so annoying, like, we're literally over here with you guys, and it looks like we're on a double date. Why are these guys still, like, whispering, you know, that fake whisper where it's still loud enough for everybody to hear, and they're, like, eyeing us, and they keep looking over, and they're trying to, like, flirt, and we're just like, please. We're avoiding them. We started getting closer to our friends, like literally, we're just like, okay, we're just gonna be like, we started like hugging onto their arms and leaning on them and doing that annoying thing that people do when they're kind of attracted to someone, where they laugh at things that aren't even funny. And we're doing this on purpose. We're like trying to convey, like, we are here with these guys and we are like here together. We're not just friends. These dudes did not want to catch a hint. And the audacity was next level. So they come up to our table. Like, who does that? Ooh, it turns on and spins like an actual fan. Nice. That was the first drop from wave 3. This is the second drop from wave 2, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember what this wave is from. That might be from wave 1. But back to the story. The audacity of these guys to like literally just come up to our table, and we're like, are you serious right now? So then one of our guy friends is like, yo, dude, they're not like, they're here with us. Like, what are y'all even doing? And I don't even remember what they said, but my friends were being quite respectful. And we're trying to get up and leave, and they started trying to get in their face, like trying to start something. I don't know what they were trying to achieve. Did they maybe think that we were going to be like, oh, you guys are tougher and so much more cool? It's like, no. Dude, like, you're a weirdo. Go away. And they really thought they were doing something. However, they did not realize that I'm crazy. And I'm over here. Like, when I say I love heels, I'm not talking. They gave you 3 of those rugs? Why do you be getting all these nice glitches, Teddy? That's not even cool. Because you can't give those things away or like sell them. So it's almost like useless. It's just like decorate your house with it that only your friends can come to, so you can't even like show off properly. But we're at the booth and we're just getting ready to leave, and to my friend's credit, because you gotta think, this is at the end of a night of drinking, and partying and being at the club, and at the end of a year deployment, because this was like the second weekend we were back. So we are in no shape to make good, coherent choices at all whatsoever. We are on a fast track for making every bad choice possible. And they are being so calm, the guys, they're being so calm, telling them, you know, like, back off, they're not interested, they're not here alone for you guys to even, that is so disrespectful, you see us here together, and they are just being so calm. And one of them steps to my friend, and when I say, back to this tangent of the story, when I say I like heels, I don't mean like kitten heels, we're talking stilettos. We're talking like looks like a murder weapon. And because I was so slim, I was able to slip my foot out of my stiletto. It had an ankle strap. I don't know how I got out of that shoe so fast, but I almost hit that guy in the temple with this murder death weapon, okay? Because I was like, we're not about to play these games. Like, because I am a woman. So if I attack him, I'm not gonna get arrested, more than likely. At most, I'll get detained. However, my friends, they were probably gonna go to jail because they were, you know, one of the main things you do when you're deployed is work out. So we were talking these big buff men, like they weren't super tall, but they're like built, showing 1 year's worth of being deployed and having not much else to do but go to the gym. So they were going to go to jail. They were going to arrest them first and ask questions later. So I'm like, we're not about to do this. We're not about to do this, because when it comes to my friends, I am ride or die. So before anybody even knew what was happening, I already had one of my stilettos off, and I was about to just like jam it into this guy's temple. And here's the thing, I don't do moderation well. So like, I could have just hit him in the face, but I was aiming for the soft spot with my shoe, and a very dangerous shoe, because what I was thinking was, I'm going to debilitate you to the point where you can't retaliate. But in that moment, my alcohol addled brain, if we could put it in those terms, wasn't considering that had it landed, that could very possibly be a death shot, because it's like right here, you know, that soft spot, and then, you know, there's the stiletto, and the guys weren't the only ones that had lived at the gym. I had also been living at the gym, so even though I was bulked up, like I was slim and like all muscle. So that hit was coming with a lot of force. And my friends stopped me and they're like, hey, no, yeah, we go 0 to 10,000. It's like, it's for 9,000. We go 0 to Super Saiyan in the blink of an eye. And if my friend got in the way, she's like, what are you doing? Like, are you trying to kill them? And I'm like, look, we you know that if the guys have to be the ones to step in, they're going to get arrested and ask questions later. But if it's us, they're going to ask questions first. And the police did come, because it was getting so out of pocket, that the police did come, and they were like, what's going on? And the policeman is like looking at me because people told him what I did, and he's just looking at me because, look, I look so innocent. When I was, okay, I'm about to be 38. And I know I would say I look about 10 years younger than what I actually am. But when I was 20, I looked not a day over 16. Like, I was still getting carded at 25, like genuinely carded, not because it was just like what you're supposed to do by law, or they're trying to like cater to me so they get a bigger tip. Like, I was genuinely getting carded up until I was like 25. And so at 20, this was after Afghanistan. So this was after Afghanistan. So I was 23. And I didn't look a day over 16 unless I had a full face of makeup. If I had a full face of makeup, then I looked more my age. But like, I had just come back from Afghanistan, so I didn't feel like doing makeup. Like, that's too much effort. You got mascara and lip gloss out of me. That was it. And like, I just didn't look like someone who would exact so much violence on another person. the police officer. So then, because of what I did, so then the other two guys, they got really defensive, and when the police came, they're the ones who told the police what I had done, and the police officer was looking at me like, I highly doubt that she would do that. And I was like, no, I did. But he was trying, like, he was stepping the line. He was trying to fight my friend, and we're not gonna do that. We're not playing those games. Because the other thing is, I don't lie. So like, I just told the police officers, and they kind of turned away. But I could see this, you know, when people are trying to hold in their laughter. Because also, the police officers were taller and stocky too. So like, I had on like 4-inch heels. I'm 5'7", so with the heels, I was like, what, 5'11"? Yeah. And then the police officers were a little bit taller than me, and also one of them was like really stocky. But then I also weighed like $130 soaking wet, so it's like, I looked not the part of someone who was gonna be so vicious. And you know, they were kind of just like, they kind of turned away from me, so I couldn't see them, but I could kind of see their shoulders doing that, trying to hold their laugh in. And then they like told everybody to get into their respective cars and leave, and they stayed there until everybody left, and then we all went our separate ways. And I think about it now, and I'm like, the hubris of 23-year-old me being like, no, because if I attack someone, their police are going to ask questions first. But if my friends do, my guy friends do, the police are going to arrest first, ask questions later. So I'll just do the attacking for them. And now I'm like, 37-year-old me is like, the hubris to just be like, yeah, I'm going to attack someone with a stiletto, possibly maim them, and then be like, I'll be okay.
Like, stiletto? I don't remember. But I'm pretty sure one of the like translations for you, what I've seen like synonyms for it, is from another language, and it pretty much means like living or
Makes
something
sense.
like that.
Makes sense.
It's something to do with knives, and probably it is something to do with them being small or located at the foot.
Oh yeah, they are little foot knives. Give you second thoughts. Like, look, I'm sorry. Don't mess with the people that I care about.
There was the whole style theory episode on how, yeah, you could fully murder somebody.
You could. That is kind of what I was aiming for. You know, alcohol's not great. Cause you know, like, you gotta figure, like, I can't afford this guy to be able to get back up. Like, I need to, cause he's a man, and he's stronger than me, and he's kind of taller than me, and the whole purpose is that I don't want my guy friends to get involved, because they're gonna have a worse go of it if we all get detained or whatever, and get taken into jail. So, like, I have to be the one. There can be only one. I would have made a great Highlander. That is so messed up. Cause I said that it was unplanned. It just came out. I'm like, there could be only one. I would have made a great Highlander, and y'all probably remember because we're the same age group, so y'all know what that means, right? Oh God, oh man, I made myself laugh a lot with that one. Like, I would have made a great Highlander. That's tragic. The viciousness of that statement after I said, like, processing that after I said it, and how vicious that actually is like, I would have second thoughts too. Oh man, I crack myself up sometimes. John, do you want to understand the context of that? I love you too. Do you want to understand the context of what just happened to me? Highlander was this show, and they were like these special types of people. They were like these superhuman kind of people, and it was like there can be only one because you had to run around trying to find other Highlanders, and when you kill them, you get all their power and experience. So like for most of the Highlanders, you were running around trying to kill the other ones because then you become stronger. But it's also very lonely because if there's anyone that you choose to spare, you never know when they're going to turn against you and then like scheme to kill you so that they can get your powers. And that was the thing, like there can be only one. Might have to rethink this relationship. Why? You just have to make sure you're on the right side. You just gotta be on the right side of the law. On the correct side, which would be the side that is getting defended by me, not the side that, you know. It's like, we did not, nope. I'd just be having some moments. I had, they're not always violent, but I'd be standing up for people. I'd be making enemies with people to stand up for my friends. I have one of the people that I was closest with. She was my soldier at one point, and then we were roommates, we were friends, and now we're acquaintances. We haven't talked in a while. But, you know, we help each other out anytime we need it. And I forgot the story that I was going to tell about her specifically. But yeah, it's not always physical. Oh, I remember. Somebody was talking about her behind her back, and they were doing it in front of me. And I was like, I think they thought that I'd be okay with it or that I wouldn't care, but they thought wrong. And they started talking about her, and I just immediately, well, because one of the people that was in the group that was talking about her was the guy that I was dating. So I think they kind of assumed the guy that I was dating at the time. So they were kind of just, he was laughing along and joking along, kikiing with the guys that were making fun of her. And I think they assumed that I wouldn't say anything because the guy that I was dating was part of the group that was making fun. And I immediately got up and I was like, y'all can do whatever you want and talk whatever you want. You're not going to talk about my friend in front of me. So either y'all need to get away from here if you're going to continue this conversation, or if you're going to stay in my vicinity, you need to stop talking about my friend, because that is extremely disrespectful. If you can't say it to her face, don't say it behind her back, and especially don't say it behind her back in front of me, because that is my friend, and that is highly disrespectful. So y'all need to either keep it pushing, go talk, have this conversation somewhere else, or stop the conversation, period, because you're not about to just be here talking about my friend, my very close friend, in my face. And I didn't go tell her about it afterwards either. I was just like, you know, this is a moment that passed and this is how I handled it. But somebody told her, and she was like she was really surprised, because like too many people in the world are just like, oh, you know, they'll like not say anything. They won't keep up with the commentary. They won't make comments too, but they'll also just be like, oh, ha ha ha, or they won't laugh. And that's what they'll say, like, well, I didn't laugh. No, it's not about just not laughing, and it's not about, oh, I didn't say anything when they were, you know, I didn't talk about you behind your back. But it's like, you should also not allow others to talk behind my back in your face, because that's mad disrespectful, and that's like no loyalty. I consider that to be deeply missing and lacking in the loyalty department. And to be honest, I don't even think that she would necessarily do it for me. I don't know if she was ever in a situation where she had to say something to somebody on my behalf. But I don't even care. Like, I didn't do it to get something back from her. I genuinely was just like, I was so taken aback. I was genuinely like, how dare you? How dare you have the audacity to know that this person and I are really close friends, and you think it's acceptable to just stand here and talk about her behind her back in my face. The audacity. Wait, who was that was standing there? Oh, she looked a little weird. Oh, I still had to talk to one more person about the order. There were multiple times where also I would like stand up for people if it was the right thing to do. And my sergeant told me once, he's like, you need to stop worrying about other people and just worry about yourself. And I looked him straight in his face and I was like, that is not who I am. And he was like, oh, that's why you're not going any farther, because you're too concerned with helping other people. If you didn't get involved, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, if that's what it's gonna take for me to go further in my career, then we are stagnant and we are staying where we're at, because I am not about to just like stand in front of people being trashy and be totally okay with it. Because the way that I think about it is, today it's this person, and then the next day it'll be me. Like, I'll be the butt of the joke. I'll be the I don't have any guarantees that these people, these highly untrustworthy, shiesty people, aren't going to pick me as the next target. Because to them, these people seemed like easy targets in the moment, and that's why they were going after them. But I never know when it's going to be like, I'm going to be wearing the target. And I would hope that people would stand up for me, but even if they don't, like, I don't care. That's not why I would stand up for others. I just don't think it's fair. I just don't think it's just. But you know, sometimes you kind of get bit by your own thoughtfulness and consideration. Because I think I've told the story. I don't remember if I've told the story on stream, but like the reason why I ended up having to leave the military before I was expecting to, before I had planned to, is because I stood up for someone, and in the process of standing up for them, I ended up getting on the bad side of the sergeant that I stood up against. Basically, I stood up for someone and they were too like scared and nervous to stand up for themselves. Now the sergeant was doing something wrong. She was going against the Army standard. So it wasn't like it was a made up thing. Like, we had military law behind us. But the other girl was too non-confrontational, basically. And I talked to the sergeant. I was like, hey, this is what you're doing that you're not supposed to be doing, and I would appreciate it if you fixed it, because this is the standard. This is the military standard. This is what it says right here, that you're going against it. And this was when we were all pregnant. There was like 4 of us that ended up staying behind during that deployment. It would have been my 3rd deployment, because we were pregnant, and this sergeant was not pregnant. She just had hit her 20 years, so she was applying for retirement. In the military, you don't just retire. You ask for permission. Pretty please, with sugar on top and a cherry on it. And wait for the Army to decide if they're going to let you retire. So she had hit her 20 years. She submitted her application for retirement. So she ended up staying back instead of deploying. Cool, no problem. At 7 months, pregnant women are supposed to be let go at 3. It used to be. I don't know if it's changed. But 3 p.m., that is the cutoff. 1500, go home. If you're pregnant, from 7 months on. So the girl that had her pregnancy furthest along, she's obviously the first one to hit 7 months, and 7 months comes, and this girl was huge. Like, her belly was huge. She was waddling like a little penguin. Bless her soul. I don't know how she was making it, but she's doing the best she can, and there was no need for her to be there, because all of us were capable of doing the little bit of work that she was doing. And most days, there wasn't even work between 3 and 5. So there was genuinely no reason for her to just like be there. And the sergeant is like not letting her go. And at this point, she's like the highest ranking sergeant left in the company, because our entire battalion had deployed. They'd gone back to Afghanistan. And because we were rapid deployment, 1 year home, 1 year gone. And so I'm talking to this girl, and I'm like, hey, are you gonna say anything to her? Because like, you're already at 7 months, and this is the Army standard. Like, I showed her in the book, and she's like, yeah, but you know, I don't think it's that big of a deal, because, and I could tell that she was just scared, because a lot of people are scared to go stand up against authority, any type of authority, even if they're right. And the girl was too scared to go talk to the sergeant. So I was like, you know what? I'm pregnant too. I'm eventually going to be there. Let me go talk to this woman, and so we can try to deal with this now. I mean, let's try to handle this now, as early as possible. And I go to the sergeant, and I'm like, hey, Sergeant such and such. So I noticed that soldier such and such, she's already at 7 months. And as per Army standard, I had the book with me. I'm like, right here, I quoted directly where it comes from. Like, she's supposed to be let go and, you know, leave by 1500. Like, she shouldn't be here. And, you know, she's past the due date of when she's supposed to be getting released early. And on top of that, she's not really, like, anything that she is doing, like, we can handle it for her. You know, we being the other 3 pregnant women that were also there in the office and stuff. And she's like, well, it's not a big deal. It's not like she's doing any heavy work. And I'm like, okay, but I mean, that's like irrelevant though, because like Army standard is basically Army law, which means like Army law is saying that you're supposed to let her go home at like 3. Why? Then there's no reason for her to be here, because there are those of us that are here available and can do whatever little menial office labor that she does from 3 to 5. The rest of us can do it. And she got mad. She's like, it's none of your business, and she hasn't complained. And I'm like, yeah, you know she hasn't complained because she's scared to come and talk to you. And she's like, oh, she's not scared. You're just, she was saying that I was making a mountain out of a molehill. And I'm like, look, this is the standard for a reason. Whether you like it or not, whether you think it's correct or not, it's the standard, and it's what you have to go by. And she didn't want to listen to me. Days came, days went. This girl's getting like, she's 7.5 months. She's getting bigger. There's something about 7 months where that's kind of like where babies just go like, just stretch out inside of you. And so even breathing was getting hard for this girl, because she was all of 5'2", maybe. So like, just big belly. And days come and days go, and the sergeant is just like, it's none of your business, and she's fine, and blah blah blah. So then finally, I went to IG, that was the Inspector General, which is like the law, literally the law, where the lawyers are, for the military, and I filed a complaint against her, because I went to her directly first, and she was just like, mind your own business. I'm like, I beg your pardon, madam? You have me confused. You have me confused with someone who's scared of you. I've been through too much in these last, at that time it'd been a little over 7 years in the Army. I was like, I've been through too much in these past 7 years for me to be intimidated by you, madam. So I just went to IG. And the thing about having an IG complaint is that in the military, if you have submitted application for please let me go, also known as application for retirement, if you get an IG complaint, it stops it. I didn't know, I wouldn't have cared even if I did know, because hashtag you're still doing something wrong. The IG complaint restarted her whole petition for retirement. Like, it stopped the progress of her petition for retirement, and then she couldn't resubmit until the whole IG complaint was resolved. So after I had submitted the official complaint and she, you know, they had to give her notification of it, she took me aside. This heifer, look, I'm sorry. Excuse me for calling her out her name, but also not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. This heifer takes me outside and says, why would you do that? And I'm like, oh, because I talked to you directly and you refused to fix the problem. So I don't understand why you're mad now. Why you're so big mad. And she's like, you know, it was none of your business because I wasn't doing it to you. And whenever it was your turn to, whenever you got to 7 months, I would have let you go early. And I was like, for you to have the audacity to say that out your mouth to my face, like, I'm not speculating. I'm not even speculating. I didn't have the opportunity to speculate because this woman had the audacity to say that to my face, to have those words come out of her mouth, to have the audacity to tell me that I should have left it alone because when I got to 7 months, she was gonna let me go as per the Army law and standard. And I'm like, excuse me. So you're telling me that I shouldn't have stood up for the other pregnant women because since you know that I am a problem child who is going to stand up for herself, when it came to my turn, you were gonna let me leave early, but you're not letting the other women leave early even though they're supposed to? We ain't playing these games. And I just looked at her like, are you crazy? I was flabbergasted. The flabbers were gasted when she said that to me because I could not believe. Like, it is one thing for me to assume that, to be placed in a situation where I make that inference, but for her to just come out and say that out her mouth directly to tell me that, I was taken aback. I could not believe. I was shooketh. I was jung shooketh. And yeah, so then she eventually got back at me. So when you are sent to a different duty station, you get orders, you get papers, and the papers arrive at your battalion, which is like higher level management, and then your company, which is like, you know, local level management, has someone who generally picks that up, and they'll bring the documents to the company from the battalion. When they go to battalion, they have to sign for it. And, you know, battalion assumes that once somebody picks up paperwork from them, it goes to the company and it's delivered to who it needs to be delivered to. So when I was 5 months pregnant, 5 months post-pregnancy, she pushed me out of time, like earlier than I was supposed to. So fit for duty assessment, when you've just, like, postpartum fit for duty assessment is supposed to be at 6 months. At 6 months postpartum, you're supposed to be up to the military standards, ready and able to deploy. And when I was 5 months postpartum, she started like nagging me and pushing me to go and get my fit for duty check. And I was going through a lot because that was right around the time that things had fallen apart with John's dad. So I'm looking at my life like, oh my god, I'm about to be like, I'm a single mom. Great. That was not on my bingo card. So I'm going through a lot in that moment, and I didn't even calculate that I wasn't supposed to be getting that yet. She just pushed me like, oh, go get your fit for duty check. It's time for your fit for duty check. And I was not even catching on to the fact that I wasn't supposed to yet. Like, I had another month before I was supposed to go get my fit for duty check. And when I went to get my fit for duty check, I'd already lost all the pregnancy weight, so I was meeting all the physical standards. I was fit for duty. So she's like, oh, well then, since the doctor's saying that you're fit for duty, you need to get your stuff ready for deployment. And I expressed to her, like, well, I can't deploy right now because I have an infant who's just about to be 6 months, and unplanned things happen. I wasn't expecting this to be the case, but things didn't work out with his dad, and I don't have anyone to take care of him at the moment because people aren't running around being like, oh yeah, I'll take care of your 6-month-old, because like, infants are so easy to take care of. So in that short span of time of like immediately need to do this, I didn't have anybody that I could take my 6-month-old to, and I'm like, so I need a little bit more time. The deployment is over in 4 months anyways, so can I just like skip this one and go on the next one? I've already deployed 2.5 times. One of them was for a humanitarian mission during Hurricane Katrina, because fun thing about units with aircraft, anytime you need a helicopter, you all gets to go. Fun times. I think we got hazard duty pay, so it's fine. That's fine. But and I'm just saying, like, I'm advocating for myself, stating my case, and I'm like, I don't think it's that big of a deal for me to miss out on the last 4 months of what would be my 3rd deployment. Let me just skip this one. We're a rapid deployment unit anyways, so they're going to be home they'll be back for a year, they'll be stateside for a year, and then the next year we're going to be deploying again. And by then it'll be a little bit easier for me to find someone to watch my child, because he's going to be a year old. And it was like, no consideration. Didn't give me any kind of slack. They're just like, either you start your pre-deployment preparation and get ready to go to Afghanistan, or get out of the army. And I was like, well, I guess I'm getting out, because I'm not leaving my child that's 6 months old. And I start going through the process. It's a process, by the way, that's supposed to take like 2 months. All processing is supposed to take about 2 months, because you don't have to rush it. You don't necessarily have to rush it, so you can drag it out for about 2 months. This witch was pushing so much. She had me out. She did everything. She processed everything in about 2 weeks. 2 weeks, unheard of. For someone who was getting out with like an honorable discharge and didn't actually need to be forced out quickly. This was like, because like, I believe that it was like December 17th was like the day where I found out that I was single, basically. And I was out as a civilian, as a veteran, January 12th. So when she said that to me, it was after when this came up, it was after things had ended with John's dad. So that means that from December 17th, after December 17th, she got me to go, she pushed me to go get my, she sent me to go get my fit for duty check. She told me I needed to start getting ready for deployment. I told her what was going on in my situation, in my family situation, and spent several days advocating to be allowed to skip this deployment, which again, there was only about 4 months left before everybody started coming back. An Advon party, which is the advanced party that gets there about a month before the rest of the big group, was due to come back to Fort Bragg in 3 months. So the first group of people coming back from this deployment were due back in 3 months. It takes about a month to a month and a half, depending on what the schedules are looking like, for someone to get through all of the process of pre-deployment and get on a plane that takes you to the deployment site. So essentially, by the time that I was done with all of the deployment preparations, there was going to be about a month and a half before the first group of people started coming back from that deployment. They started coming back stateside from that deployment. There was absolutely no sense, rhyme or reason to force me out under the excuse of deployment. Now, because everybody was deployed and she was like the highest level manager and she happened to be a Karen. So when Karen is the manager, things suck for the people below. She pushed this, and it wasn't even a legal chapter. So I got chaptered out. It's a honorable discharge, but it's family care plan. It means that you're non-deployable because of your family requirements and duties, which in my case was I didn't have anybody to take care of my 6-month-old. And oh, she was totally a Karen. She was totally a Karen. Because let me tell you where it becomes so petty. Okay? So she is making me throw out a 7-year-long career, of almost 8 years at that time when she was pushing me out. Just because she was being petty about the fact that I filed a case against her, a legitimate case against her, because she was breaking military law, and she was breaking the Army standard. So it wasn't even like I was lying on her. I brought a case because it was the truth, and she was just mad about it. And I had gotten orders. I had gotten my papers. She had picked them up, or she had somebody pick them up. I'm pretty sure she picked them up because nobody knew that I had these orders. She had gone to battalion one day, picked up any documentation that was for our company, and among the documentation there was a form that said, "Specialist, my last name, is due to report to this duty station in South Korea on this day." So when she is out here lying to me that I need to go deploy because I'm stop movement, and the only thing that I can do is either get out of the Army or go back to Afghanistan. Meanwhile, literally having had in her hands paperwork saying that specialist, this person right here, was supposed to be showing up to South Korea. Guess when, doll? January 13th. Remember, I said I became a civilian. Well, I became a veteran, because you're a veteran, January 12th. So, January 12th, I'm out of the Army. I'm like, okay, got my dragon stamp. I'm a veteran now. Let's figure out the rest of my life, because I had already had my mindset, we're going to be here until 10 years minimum. So I had a life plan, and now I had to redo all of it, to figure it all out again. And January 13th comes around, I get an email. And it says, "We notice you did not arrive. We're trying to reach out to you to see if you are having any issues that we can help you with." And I'm like, I beg your pardon. Arrive where? Because I was never notified that I was supposed to be going toward your duty station. And there's so many petty points in this situation, because orders don't just come down and you're like, okay, you're gone next week. Orders generally, at the tightest constraint, 90 days, because you have to do all of the necessary paperwork and movements to pack up your whole household, either put it in storage or figure out how to get it to your duty station. There's a lot of things that have to go into the process of going to another duty station, because there's also a lot of equipment that's issued to you as a military person that you have to turn in at that place where you're at. So I had military equipment that belonged to Fort Bragg, and if I was going to be moved from duty station from Fort Bragg to South Korea, I needed to turn in all that equipment at Fort Bragg and then get reissued said equipment when I got to South Korea. So there is a lengthy process that takes anywhere from 30 to 45 days to get it completely taken care of, sometimes a little bit longer if it gets harder to find, to get an appointment in, to have the people that come and get your household goods. Because the military is the one who is responsible for those things, whether they're going to ship your household goods or whether they're going to put it in storage for you until you come back. Like, they deal with that for you. So they give you time. And again, at the tightest constraint for time, they give you like 90 days. And that means that if I was supposed to report South Korea January 13th, and she started pushing to get me out of the Army sometime after December 17th, she'd already known for about 2 months that I had orders, that I was not, in fact, slated to go to Afghanistan. I was actually supposed to go to South Korea. Now, had I known, she could have gotten in trouble if I would have pursued something against her, but by the time that I found out that all of this had gone on, first of all, I didn't have any proof. I mean, I could have gotten proof because you got to sign for any paperwork that you picked up, so I could have just gone to staff duty and see who signed for that paperwork, and then they would have been held responsible for it, because once you go to staff duty, battalion, you go to battalion, you sign for the paperwork, whoever signs for the paperwork turns it into whoever they have to turn it into at the company, but usually they don't sign it off to somebody. Like, the last verifiable person of contact is usually whoever picks it up at battalion. So if she wasn't the one who directly picked it up at battalion, the person who would have gotten in trouble would have been whoever signed to get the documentation at battalion. Even if that person had just picked it all up and then handed it to her because she was the acting first sergeant, you know, like, she had ways of getting away with it unless she had been the one who signed for those documents. However, I was already out of the Army. Like, I got out of the Army January 12th. I got that email January 13th. So I didn't feel like fighting it. Yes, I agree, Jenny. I agree. But I didn't feel like fighting it because by that point, I'm like, I'm already a civilian. Like, I had my life I had started to plan things out. So essentially what I did was, when I found out that this is the way things were going, I enrolled for college that semester and I was barely showing up. January classes started like the 9th or the 10th, and I was getting my dragon stamp on the 12th. So like the 10th and the 11th, I didn't go to work. I showed up, first formation, and then deuces. I was like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna get me in trouble so that I stay in longer? You're trying to get rid of me anyway. So I didn't show up. I went to college. Like, the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th. The 12th, I went in to do the last little bit of out processing and to get my dragon stamp. But other than that, I was like, deuces, I'm not dealing with y'all. I'm not dealing with any of you heifers. I'm out. And what are they really gonna do? Because I'm already getting out of the Army. If she tried to get me in trouble for that, I would have had to stay in the Army longer. So that's not at all what she wanted. So, you know, I had just, whatever, like, forget it. I'm out. I had given up on it and just moved on, started a new chapter. While I was figuring things out, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go to college while I figure things out. And the 12th, I'm out of the Army. The 13th, I get that email, I respond, I let them know what has happened so that they know they need to. And by the way, she shorted those people because the reason she shorted that duty station needed my job. They needed a person with my MOS and a person with my rank to be in that position. And they didn't have any backups because they had no expectation that I wasn't going to show up. So then all of a sudden now that duty station had to figure out where they're going to get another supply person from because the one they were expecting wasn't arriving. So now the person on the other side whose job I'm taking over is either stuck in South Korea longer, or they're like, deuces, I have another duty station, I got to go. So they go to their duty station and there's nobody to fill that job because now Quartermaster Brigade is going to have to scramble to find another 92 Alpha to fill it, which is automated logistical specialist, to fill that spot, who is available to even fill that spot, because you are, you know, stop loss sometimes where you're getting ready to deploy and you can't be pulled to another duty station, and where, you know, you're in the process of getting out so you can't get pulled to another duty station, or, you know, your serial number came up for a promotion so you can't get pulled into a position for a lower rank because you're already about to make your next rank. So if it's a position that's for E4, E5, that's why I was able to, you know, that's why I was assigned to that. if you're an E5 and your serial number already came up for for E6, that means that you're about to be a staff sergeant as soon as like it gets to your number, because it's like sequential promotion. But like if you're on the promotion list, you're essentially a staff sergeant. You're just waiting for your promotion date to arrive so you can actually pin it on, well, Velcro it on by this time, and start getting paid at that pay grade. So if it's an E4, E5 position, you can't put an E5 that's about to be an E6, because as soon as they become an E6, then that position is empty again, and that E6 is going to have to go to an E6 slot, which means you're going to lose them as well. So she caused a staff logistical nightmare just to be petty. Just to be petty. So it's like, that is next level petty. And I could have gotten her in trouble if I had cared enough to. But by then I was just like, you know what, forget it. Because the other thing is, if you go to South Korea, it's a 1-year duty station if you go by yourself. It's almost like a deployment. However, if you have a family, you can do paperwork. You can submit paperwork to be command sponsored. Command sponsored means that you need to come with your family and that you are committing to stay in South Korea for 3 years. And that is kind of like the exchange that you do. You know, y'all help me with the paperwork to bring my family with me, and as a thank you for helping me to not be separated from my family for a whole year, I now commit to give you 3 years of my service at your duty station instead of the customary 1. It's a win-win, because if you have someone in a position for 3 years, it's better than having to train someone new, you know, constant revolving door of new staff. So it's kind of like a useful arrangement for both sides. Had I gotten my orders 3 months before I was supposed to get to South Korea, I would have submitted the request for command sponsorship, and then they could have made the decision. The new duty station in South Korea would have made the decision if they found it viable to go through with the process with me so that I could take John with me and then just be in South Korea for 3 years, or if they were going to submit like the paperwork necessary to the Quartermaster Brigade to request for another 92 Alpha, because the one that they had slotted had this situation going on. But like, she took away so many people's choices. She created such a logistical personal nightmare just off of her pettiness. And here's the crazy thing. There's no guarantee that she was even going to be able to retire. Because the way the Army does it, when you hit 20 years, like, you just belong to them. And they can choose to not let you retire. They can say, your rank in your job does not have enough staff. So at this moment, we are not able to let you retire. Apply again in however many months. So there wasn't even a guarantee that she'd be able to retire. All that pettiness. And there wasn't even a guarantee that even if I didn't interrupt her retirement process, that it was even going to go at the pace that she was expecting. I wanted to go to South Korea too. So there was a part of me that was kind of like, man, maybe I should fight for this. But I was already enrolled in college. All in all, how did you like that? I liked it. It had its good points and it had its bad points. I mean, there are a lot of jobs that have things that you like and things that you don't like. I found it enriching to be able to meet people from all over the world. When I was in Afghanistan, we were in a joint base, which means that I got to interact with people from like the South Korean Army. I got to interact with people from the French Army. I got to interact with people from like the British Army. And it was kind of cool to not just meet people from all over the States, but all over the world. It was kind of nice. So that aspect I really enjoyed, the multicultural aspect of it, the multinational aspect of it. It was like the globe just was so much smaller. You got to meet so many people and see so many cultures. So it did have that. There were a lot of quirks that I don't like, and I wouldn't take a job that does things like that now. One of the things is mass punishment. So whenever somebody did something wrong, everybody had to pay for it. Let me give you an example. There was once upon a time, and this was after I'd gotten married. This was after I got married, because I lived off base. Or was it after I got divorced? It was after I bought my house. I bought my house when I was married. I got the house in the divorce, well, because he couldn't afford to pay for it, so he was just like, I can't afford to pay for it, so just keep the house. Also, I'm the one who paid for the house anyway. Anyways, semantics. The point is, I had the house, and I lived about 10 minutes off base, and I was chilling in my house on, was it a Saturday? I think it was a Saturday, and it was like 4 in the morning, and I'm 23. So we had all gone to party that Saturday, and then I went back home. So I was hungover as all get out, and I get a phone call, and they're like, oh, this person who didn't have permission to go, it was to go, like there's a limited range of how far you can go. I think it's at Fort Bragg is like 200 miles. It might have been 150. But if you're gonna go any farther than the established radius, you have to put in a pass request. Where a lot of people like to go was Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, which is just outside of where you're allowed to go without a pass. Just barely, but it's just on the other side of you are not allowed to be here without permission. And so there was this one guy, and he was a problem child. Like, he was really a problem child. And he had gone with a group of his friends to Myrtle Beach and gotten drunk and got arrested. So we all had to get into our dress uniforms, our Class A's, and go to the company and be there and have our Class A's. By the way, Class A's are so frustrating for women because men have pockets on their Class A's. So all of their ribbons and stuff go off of the pockets. With females, though, we don't get pockets. We don't even get pockets in the military. Look at that. Discrimination. And our Class A's uniforms were measured off of your body shape, which meant that not only did you had to have a specific bra just for that uniform. Like, that was your Class A bra, so that everything would fall in the same place every time. It was like 4 in the morning. I am not even joking. It was either 3 or 4 in the morning. I get a phone call, and they're like, you need to come to the company. And I'm like, I am drunk. Okay? I am drunk, and I am not about to drive. And so they're like, oh, we'll send this person to pick you up. So, hungover me, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. It might have been Sunday. Both are egregious forms of disrespect. Had to get up, find my Class A bra, get my Class A's out, get my dress boots, which, by the way, you had to shine every single time you wore them because they would always get scuffed and not be dress ready, and not be parade ready after every single use. Fun times. God forbid anybody got your Class A's dirty while you were at the company at retarded o'clock in the morning, because then you also had to take all of your ribbons off, all of your ribbons and all your awards off, send it to the dry cleaner, and then put everything back on. And here's the thing, you can't put your ribbons on by yourself, because the placement of the ribbons has to fall in a specific measurement when you're standing at attention. So there is no way for a female to put her own ribbons on, because there's no way for you to put ribbons on while standing at attention. Not humanly, physically possible. So you always need somebody else to put the ribbons on for you. Fun times being fondled while they're putting all the ribbons and all the things on for you. So you have to get up at retarded o'clock, when you're hungover, grab all of your accoutrement for your dress uniform, put it on, wait to get picked up, in this case, because you're too drunk to drive. And even if I was well enough to drive, I always said that I was too drunk to drive, because if you're going to inconvenience me, I'm going to inconvenience you back. We are petty when it came to this. When it came to mass punishment, I was so petty, you would not even recognize me. Like, the level of petty was over 9,000. It was Super Saiyan petty. Because I would be fine. It would be a weekend where I didn't even drink, and I'd be like, I have been drinking. I can't get there on my own, because if we are playing dumb games, I am gonna give you dumb prizes. And so, get into the dress uniform, get there. But we don't get to get into formation, because that soldier sergeant had to drive all the way to South Carolina, to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, to bail him out of jail, to bring him back to Fort Bragg, where all of us, the entire company, was pissed off and congregating and wanting to beat the living daylights out of this guy for going all the way to Myrtle Beach, getting drunk, and getting himself arrested. Because you can get drunk, you can go as far as you want to go, as long as you're back on time by Monday. Nobody cares. But why do you have to go and get arrested and ruin it for everybody? So his life was also not well when he went back to the barracks. And guess what? Also, nobody's going to snitch, because everybody was pissed off for him doing that. So we were at the company for hours. It takes about 3 hours to drive to Myrtle Beach and come back. So this sergeant had to drive all the way to Myrtle Beach, bail his bum self out of jail, drive all the way back to Fort Bragg, and then we had a formation. And apparently the mass punishment is because none of us took care of him. And I'm just standing there like, I am a whole married person, living off base with my husband. Like, I don't know what y'all are doing in the barracks. I don't know, and I don't care. I am not all up in your business. I am not all up in the gossip. I don't care. 5 o'clock, I am gone. I have a life. I have a family. I have a household to get to. Like, I have a dog waiting for me at home. I don't stay here. I don't talk to y'all. I don't know what y'all are doing this weekend. So I am not about to stand here and be okay with this ridiculousness of you trying to blame me for somebody else's dumb decisions that I am absolutely not privy to at all. Because I am a full-grown adult who doesn't even live near here. I don't even know this guy. He's not even in my section. But that's not the only time that it happens, because I don't know what it is about soldiers wanting to make dumb decisions. Drink in the barracks. Nobody says anything about underage drinking in the barracks. All the sergeants know that it happens. Everybody knows that it happens. Underage drinking in the barracks. As long as you're not breaking the law, nobody cares. But why do they go drinking at clubs and at bars? They go out, they get their friends who are of age to get a drink, and then they take the drink from their friends, and then they drink it, and they're not only are they underage drinking, but they're underage drinking and driving. Because there was a time, they're lucky I'm Christian, and I've been Christian this whole time, because the level of violence that I would exact on some of these people had I not been Christian, I would have been the one who needed to be gotten out of jail. Because there was another situation. I am at home. It is like either Saturday or Sunday. I think it was a Sunday. And we had a house party. So, like, we partied until late because it was a house party. That's what you do when you have a house. You invite all your friends. Everybody drinks at your house. The people who aren't your friends, they do whatever they want. So this one kid decided to go out drinking and driving. Now this kid wasn't underage, so at least he had one less bad thing in his repertoire. However, he then decided to drive drunk and drove into the barracks. The level of violence that I wanted to exact on this child when I heard this, I was like, Sergeant T, it is 3 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, and I was drinking yesterday. I had a house party. You know I had a house party because I invited you, but you didn't come because you had already committed to go to somebody else's house party. So you know that I cannot drive. And also, I don't even know where my Class A's are because I haven't gotten my stuff back, because this was right after deployment too. Like, this is right after we got back from deployment. I'm like, I have not even gotten my stuff back. I don't even know where my Class A's are. Sergeant T, we are not about to play these games. He's like, look, I don't want to play these games either. Okay? I don't want to play these games either. Do you think I want to be there? I was also drinking last night. However, we don't have a choice. I will be at your house in about 30 minutes. Find your Class A's. And I'm like, so I'm sitting here going through every single piece of item that I have in my house to try to find my dress uniform or pieces of dress uniforms that I have owned throughout my time in the military that don't necessarily fit me, but I Yo estoy en vivo. Ciérrame la puerta si te está molestando, por favor. Apologies. So, I'm on the phone with him and I'm like, all right, I'll see you when you get here. I hang up. I start going through all my stuff because throughout my time in the military, I had been slimmer, I had been heftier, and you have different size Class A's. So I'm trying to find enough pieces to cobble together an entire dress uniform because some idiot decided to drink and drive into the barracks. Into the barracks. And it was like, those barracks had like a staff duty, and like all barracks had staff duty. I don't know if all barracks did, but at Fort Bragg there was always a staff duty office that was for the barracks, but there's also staff duty for battalion, and they just call it staff duty because people are on staff and on duty 24 hours. So he didn't like just drive into the barracks building. He drove into staff duty. So he couldn't even like pull out and run away because it's 24-hour duty, so there were people there. There was one sergeant and one soldier at a minimum on duty 24 hours. So it wasn't even a thing where he could try to like, you know, reverse and pull out of there and try to like, hopefully nobody knows it was me. There was no getting out of it. And I'm just like, I just got back from deployment. We had been drinking. Like, I don't even know where my dress uniform is because I hadn't gotten my household goods yet. Like, that's how recent coming home was. Like, I hadn't even gotten my household goods. Well, you know, the military's slow giving your household goods back when you get back from anything. But still, I didn't have my household goods. I didn't have my dress uniform. I don't know how I was even able to cobble together enough pieces to play it off and show up over there. And everybody is just looking at this kid like wanting to eviscerate him. Because, like, phone a friend, use a lifeline. It was, oh my god. And then you're just there until they decide to let you go back home. And God forbid that there are any rumors of anybody doing drugs around the time that you have to come in for one of these situations, because you generally have to come in because something has happened and it's generally alcohol related. But then there are quite often random drug analysis because there's rumors of somebody's been using drugs, and they take advantage of the fact that every single person in the company has shown up because somebody, in this case, decided to drive into staff duty ridiculous o'clock in the morning, and they're like, well, yeah, and by the way, random urinalysis. And they'll just pick a batch of people. And the thing about urinalysis is, like, if it's not a company-wide, like, if they're not doing everybody, if it's going to be, like, a random batch of people, everybody else gets to leave. Now, mind you, what is one of the first things we all do as human beings when you wake up? You go to the bathroom. So if you're, like, getting ready and you're not expecting any of this because it's retarded o'clock. Your brain isn't even functioning properly, and then you're scrambling. You're getting into your dress uniform, and you're like not thinking about any of these things. And then you get there, and then they embarrass the person who did it, and then they try to embarrass everybody else for not helping that person out and keeping them out of trouble, even though they're a full-grown adult as well. And then they're like, oh, and by the way, since we got you all here, we're gonna have a random urinalysis, and we're gonna call out the names. It's just as bad when everybody has to do it, because I have a later name in the alphabet. I'm towards the back of the alphabet, so I guess a random one with just a batch of people in my situation would be better than when they do the ones where it's like, surprise, everybody's peeing in a cup today. It's like, oh great, because they go in alphabetical order and I'm all the way at the back. Love that for me. When I got married, I changed my last name to my ex-husband's last name, because I was like, we ain't playing these games anymore, we're going to the front of the list. I think that was one of the things I was happiest about. I was so happy. I was like, yes, move into the front of the list. Oh god, silver linings. But yeah, so I would say that was one of the things that I would just like, how, because I understand policing up your battle buddies. I understand trying to make sure that the people around you aren't making bad choices. Let's say if you live in the barracks. If you live in the barracks, you are aware of the other things that barracks people are doing. Now, if you don't live in the barracks, you have no way of knowing what they're doing. You don't be finding out, because if you live off post, it's for a reason that generally is that you're married and or have kids. You don't have time for barracks people shenanigans. So you don't find out what they're doing. So if they're gonna do like mass punishment, it should be mass by category, right? It should be like the barracks people have to come in their class A's because y'all are all in the barracks. There's a higher likelihood that you were aware of the things that they were doing and that was happening in the barracks because y'all live in the barracks. And if people that live off base, because they're like, you know, married and or have kids, they should not punish everybody for that, because like you're off in your own space. Nobody knows. Oh, that's so good. I'm glad. My brother was having a struggle and he just let me know that he was able to fix it. So it just feels so messed up, because the excuse that they would always give for the mass punishment is that we failed our battle buddies because we didn't try to make sure that they didn't get in trouble. But we're all full-grown adults. Like, everybody is a full-grown adult. There is no way for me to tell another grown adult. There is no way for me to do more than just say, hey, that's a bad idea. Don't do that. Don't drink and drive. This is a conversation that was had many a time. Like, you can tell people all day, don't drink and drive. And then they're going to do what they're going to do. Oh wait, I don't have money, do I? I am limited on funds. So, like, it just, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me, the whole mass punishment thing. Especially in that kind of culture, because, like, a lot of the times, people that live in the barracks associate with other barracks people, but people that live off base, they just don't be associating with the people that live on base, because generally for you to live off base, it's one of three things. Generally, most of the time, you're married, you have kids, or you're married and have kids, or you're an officer or a sergeant. So like, you're either higher ranking and you don't have barracks assigned to you because they can't, because it's conflict of interest, or you have a family, or you have dependents. So like, you're just living a different version of life than the people that are on the barracks. Like, if you live in the barracks, then you are a single soldier, or you are a soldier who has family that doesn't live there, that lives in some other state or some other country. So you're living in the barracks because there's no point for you to live off base. Or, like, you know, it's different worlds. I didn't know what was happening with my off-base, you know, friends and fellow soldiers, and they didn't know what was happening in the barracks unless we told them. Unless it was some extra shenanigans, ridiculous stuff, and we were, like, telling about it. Like, oh, this happened, ah, so funny. Because we got up to some shenanigans in the barracks. Trash can lid surfing down the stairs. It was like an episode of Jackass. A lot of the time. But, you know, we're young, full of hubris, and thinking that we can survive anything. So obviously what you do with that is you grab the trash can lids and surf them down the stairs. That's what that is totally what any self-respecting person would do. It just seems really ridiculous to me, like the whole mass punishment situation, when most of the time it's like two worlds. There's the on-base world and the off-base world. But then everybody's having to, like, pay for the consequences together. That doesn't even make sense. Like, we're not psychic. We have no way of knowing what shenanigans the barracks people are up to, and the barracks people have no way of knowing what shenanigans the off-base people are getting into. But also, yes, trash can lid surfing was definitely a thing. You ever hear people on, like, TikTok and Reddit and all these things saying these crazy stories of, like, things they've gone through, and you're just like, oh, that sounds crazy. I've never, like, crazy drunk stories, or like, oh, my friends have never done something like that, or I've never gone through something like that. I'll hear or read a lot of those stories, and I'll be like, yeah, sounds like the military. Like, people peeing in people's refrigerators because the bathroom was locked because somebody was in there. Like, oh, I need to pee, and someone's in the bathroom. Obviously, the next best thing is the refrigerator. I mean, I kind of understood it because the refrigerator was right next to the bathroom, so, like, if you're dying to pee. But, like, yeah, it was a hot mess. But it was funny. As long as the hot mess wasn't happening to me, it was funny. I actually got to the point where, with the exception of when I came back from deployments, because when I returned from deployments, I was a raging alcoholic, both times. But aside from those times, the times in between, and obviously when I was pregnant and nursing, I wasn't drinking. But the non-pregnant times in between deployments, I came to the realization that I'm gonna be everybody's sober friend, because my friends, all my acquaintances, all my close acquaintances, or, you know, we all thought we were each other's friends until somebody stabs you in the back. But we were all like, we all drank too much. Like, almost everybody in the military drinks too much. And I got to the point where I was like, I'm not going to drink. I'm going to be everybody's sober friend. And this is why. Because the hilarity of drunk people, it is just, oh my god. I had so much more fun when I decided to be everybody's sober friend than when I was drinking along with them. Because the shenanigans that people get up to when they've been drinking, it was worth being sober. So worth it. They just be, drunk time is something else. It is something completely otherworldly. Okay, what is up with Twitch? Because Twitch is like not updating my information. I have the tab open, but it's not progressing, even though we're at 2 hours and 41 minutes. Twitch is showing as if I've only made it to the first milestone. So it looks like, contrary to what I was planning, I might have to stream Palia again. I was planning on doing 3 hours so that I could just get all of the things, and I got the fan, which was the first drop, but for some reason it's not progressing at all on giving me the next well, I mean, it's not progressing at all. Well, no, I guess it's really not progressing at all, because if the first milestone is at 1 hour and the second milestone is supposed to be at 2 hours, then it should be. It says that I'm connected too, because it says like connection required, and it says that I'm connected right now, so I don't know why it's not giving me these things. It says that this is wave 3. It says that I'm at 53% of the 3 hours and 80% of the 2 hours. Meanwhile, we're almost at having a 3-hour live stream right now, which is it's crazy. So I don't know what the problem is, because I've had it on the Twitch tab this entire time. So Twitch is messing with me. I don't know why, but it's getting kind of late. It is 10:32 on the East Coast, and I'm in better shape than I had been from the sciatica problems with the cushions and the foot things and moving the monitors to be directly in front of me. So we have succeeded in figuring that part out. Having the monitors directly in front of me is definitely a game changer. I'm going to keep working on how I have it set up, because I don't like the setup that I have right now. I will be working on that tomorrow, and Thursday we'll be streaming again. If it's not Palia, it'll be Fae Farm, because I think this time I will actually click into somebody else's live stream and just have it running in the background so that I can get the drops, because this is ridiculous. We're at 2 hours and 43 minutes and it's only given me the first drop, and it's annoying. Good night, Jenny. So, ending stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. To all the people who popped in, even those that were just kind of trying to plug their own services, and that's fine, because engagement, that's what we care about. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for listening to my fun, crazy military stories, and there are so many more, because like when I started thinking about them, I remember so much stuff. There's so much stuff, so much chaos. But with that, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Do not forget to do all the social media things, like, follow, subscribe, share, and click the notification icon, so when I have enough to put another one of these out there, you will be among the first to know. And with that, y'all have a great night, morning, evening, wherever you are tuning in from, and I will see you on the next one. Goodbye.